As I had to catch up with so many releases this Sankranti and Pongal, I got to watch Captain Miller 4th in the lineup after watching Guntur Karam, Hanuman, Saindav before getting here. I saw Saindav and Captain Miller back to back. I hoped I could recover from the boredom that Sailesh Konalu subjected me. But alas, Captain Miller only added to my pain before it redeemed itself and relieved me a lot with that climax. I was trying to write Saindav review before Captain Miller showing started, but couldn't resist myself from sneaking into Hanuman's screening to catch the ending of it again. It gave me an adrenaline boost before watching Captain Miller. I had mixed emotions with this movie. I'm trying to find words to match those mixed feelings. There were many moments of frustration as everything moves at snail pace. It's like a serial. I think they had budget for multiple cameras, so the staging of every scene starts with few close-ups of the actors in the scene and it pans out with wide shots from multiple angles to show the arid landscape that's shown like 1,000 times in this movie again and again. And before the supporting characters start having conversations, there is another round of close-ups and then the person initiating the conversation will slowly indulge in an activity, say like smoking. So we'll again have to wait till that guy takes out the cigarette or the cigar to rub it all over his body and light it up, which will take an eternity. And if this hero is supposed to be in that scene, then the hero is introduced again in slow motion with the camera being on the hero's back, and then the hero will continue to walk some time and the camera will still stay on his back and then move to the side shot and then the front. And then either a conversation or an action sequence takes place. Oh my god, it was painful. The director excels though in emotional scenes to leave the camera close up on the actors to let that intensity touch us. All he had to do is edit those unnecessary slow staging and then this movie would have been so much better. I'll tell you what made me sit through this slow filmmaking. That terrific background score of G.V. Prakash. What an amazing score, man. That scintillating sound reverberating through your veins, gushing up your blood. Just like Christopher Nolan used that sound in Oppenheimer to spellbound you with sound design, here G.V. Prakash just made everything palatable. As Rajinikanth himself said that in Jailer, without the background score, it was an average movie at best. Because everybody only walks in slow motion in that movie. So sound was the only way, and therefore Anirudh's score explosion enhanced the emotion and the fast-paced narration of that film helped it along. Here, G.V. Prakash had a bigger challenge. The narration ain't fast-paced, it's worse than slow-paced. So to make this palatable is not an ordinary thing, it's a Bahubalyan achievement. G.V. Prakash has to win many awards for this background score and sound design. If not for this sound, this film would have got torturous. All actors just excelled in their acting, except the third-rate writing for the roles of the king and the prince. The prince was the worst of the written roles, and I couldn't sit through that actor's acting as well. Dhanush was extraordinary in this role. His role is so conflicted and unenvious. He portrayed all the internal struggles and conflicts brilliantly. I'll credit the director for two things. That interval, man. That interval exploded emotionally. The acting was top-notch. The sound topped everything. And then the payoff in the end with that climax was amazing. The slow staging for climax though was necessary, but because it was more about calm before the storm. Again, Nolan's reference here, the absolute deafening silence before the eruption of the nuclear blast. Another reference could be from Kurosawa's Seventh Samurai for that staging of the fight, saving the village. You'll remember this interval and climax for a long time. It was so impactful. The action sequences were only fine. A lot of shooting and jump cuts. You don't know who's shooting whom because both sides are facing each other and having machine gun directed at each other, shooting each other, and nothing happens. The chase in the motorbike was good, but it again was only because of the sound. I'll have to say that I guessed what made the hero come back to his village. That reveal in the end was very good. I'm thinking that besides the slow staging, despite the great acting, extraordinary background score and sound design, why could I not fully enjoy the film? I think it is as I feared and mentioned in my trailer review, the beaten to death class oppression theme in Tamil cinema has become really tiresome. And the caricaturist characterization of the king and the psychotic son, along with that Gumasta with no nuance, reduced the experience. That Gumasta's face is shown like 1,000 times, only chewing some stuff for no reason. Also, the most twisted fake conversation between Dhanush's character and his brother Shivarajkumar's character reduced the emotional interest in this movie at the very start itself. It almost felt like fake propaganda being espoused here. Normally, I'm not affected by individuals' politics and watch cinema as long as it is well woven into the story. Here, the politics and the propaganda became more important than the story and the film itself, and therefore it is the weakness of the film. If you can sit through the slow staging and look past the in-your-face propaganda. There is some emotional depth purely driven by sound and a good bit of acting, but only if you have a lot of patience and love for cinema in general. If you like the review, show your love by liking the video. Spread the love by sharing it with your friends, family, and bless us by subscribing to the channel so that we can keep meeting often. Thank you.